I'm looking at the cover of
Yes.
this album. You know, you have the cover of the band, and it's kind of like looks like an etching almost or a painting. And
Yeah, honestly, I was like surprised when I first saw it, and it kind of snuck up on me, and I'm liking it more and more for its uniqueness. I have not seen another CD with that kind of art in a long, long time
no,
because it's not epic fantasy art. It doesn't resemble the last three or four Burning Star albums, which we had Ken Kelly, the great epic artist, doing the art.
yeah,
Uh, it doesn't look like an Iron Maiden album or Saxon album. It looks like a comic book. It really does. And that's cool. It's cool because it's got the balls to be unique, you know? And I'm not even taking credit for that. I like to take credit for everything, but I can't. That was Giles. He came up with this concept of, tough guy New York metal. So, what better thing to do, put us in some kind of alley fighting some kind of monster and
yeah,
so it's got this kind of punk in your face appeal. And I think if if a person is browsing in a record store, and I think if they see like four or five typical epic metal covers,
hmm
and they see this one, they're going to be intrigued. They're going to want to keep looking at it, and they're going to try to, if they've never heard of Jack Starr or Burning Star or any of the people on it, they're still going to be looking at it and trying to figure out where is this coming from,
yeah,
you know? And that's what I did when I was a kid. I would see an album, and if it looked interesting, I would come back. Maybe not buy it that day, but I would come back, like
yeah,
the following week because the seed had been planted to
yeah,
get that album. Like for example, and I'm dating myself, but that's okay. For example, when I saw that ghostly looking witch on the cover and she wasn't a witch, but she kind of looked like a witch on the cover of Black Sabbath, the first album.
yeah.
So I didn't buy the album right away, but I thought about it. I thought about it, and it was like it intrigued me. It's like, you what is she doing there in front of this like little mill or whatever it was in an out of the way little, unholy looking place. So there's something to be said for uniqueness.
hmm That was like me the first time I ever heard Iron Maiden. I saw the cover of Power Slave, and I'm like, this just looks cool. So I want
Yes.
to listen to this, and that's kind of what really ended up getting me into them
Yeah.
was a crazy record album cover.
Absolutely. So I think Giles hit it on the head when he wanted that, and that was his vision. And I think it was great.
Sure. So you did something a while back in the fall. You played on a thrash metal song, completely something that you normally don't do, but you did play some lead guitar. I'm curious to hear about that. What was it like playing on a heavy metal song like that, which is kind of something you don't normally really play?
Well, I have actually done that in the past. I had a thrash band called Phantom Lords. We
hmm
did two albums for Dutch East India Napalm Records. And then I also had another thrash band called Devil Child.
Okay.
And and both of those bands have cult followings to this date, and the albums have been reissued. I've always liked the energy of thrash music.
Yeah.
You know, I'll tell you a funny little story, but with Burning Star at rehearsals, sometimes, you know, we wanted to get warmed up before we go through our songs, like Rock the American Way that you mentioned. So we would start playing like a thrash song, like Ace of Spades, and we would all like, you know, crack up because it was so out of character for us, but we dug it. And then later on, when I met Mike Torelli and we started doing more epic metal style at our rehearsals, we would do like a song by Angel Witch, which was really bizarre because no one in America had ever heard them. And it was really weird that I even heard them. But I love that song, you're an angel, angel witch, wow,
Yeah.
that's cool. It was, so we would play this thrashy kind of music. And I always felt, why limit myself? Why pigeonhole to just, oh, well, I'm just going to be like another Vivian Campbell or whoever plays epic metal guitar,
Yeah.
you know. And besides that, I met Lemmy, and I thought he was a very nice guy. He was introduced to me by a friend of mine that I went to junior high school with and high school, who became the drummer for a band called Thor, the muscle guy. And he knew Lemmy, so we went up to see him, and it was just great, and it reinforced my belief that he would be a nice guy. I knew he's going to be down to earth. And sure enough, he opens the door and he's wearing these ridiculous looking moccasins that look like bear claws that were popular in America like 10, 15 years ago. They were like slippers, but they had like claws on them. And he was just funny. And he's like strumming his guitar,
Yeah.
playing Beatles songs that he really liked. And so, it's all good. And I think it's great when people step outside of the norm.
Yeah, I think that it always intrigues me when people do something that you don't expect, that people don't expect. Because I know, like, the Phantom Lord albums came out a long time ago. Those were kind of more of an 80s thing, and you've been playing this kind of brand of power metal, then suddenly, hey, I'm going to play some thrash again, you know, 30, 40 years later. It's so it's always interesting to branch out like
Well, I
that.
have to say, without sounding conceited, I'm really good at it, at thrash. I don't know why, but it's like, some there's like different things that I can do on the guitar and things I can't do. One of the things I can do is thrash. One of the other things I can do, which surprises a lot of people, is blues. I can play, like Gary Moore type, Stevie Ray Vaughan type
Hmm.
blues. I can do that. So, and really, what is the secret of being able to master something? You have to like it first,
Yeah.
you know. So it's just stuff that I like, and I'm able to kind of zero in on it.
Awesome, man. Well, hey, I'm looking forward to this record coming out.
Yeah,
Comes out April 28th, if I'm
yes.
correct. So, yeah, it's again, I would have to say it's very good. I think the one strength that it has, and I say this because I think this combination of you and Giles is absolutely fantastic, is that it kind of leaves you wanting more. Because remember when I heard it, I'm listening to it kind of casually, then I'm like, I want to hear more and more of this, and then you kind of get into it, and that's not an easy thing to do for a lot of bands, but it always leaves me thinking it's just the way the songs are played, it's the songwriting itself, but I just think the combination of you two, I'll say it again, is great. I mean, it's a formula that,
There is chemistry,
yeah,
and there is chemistry, and I know that Giles and I could get together again and do another great album, maybe even greater than this one. The chemistry is there, and it's the same chemistry that I felt when I met Rhett Forrester.
yeah,
I mean, Rhett and I were totally different people, but we had chemistry and we liked each other, and I like Giles. He's really got a great personality. I mean, if I'm sure you follow his posts on Facebook, and
yeah.
he has that same kind of in your face uh ballsiness that Red Forrester had, and it translates to his vocal approach. It's like kind of like a take no prisoners kind of approach.
Yeah.
And that's what was needed. I mean, I'm so glad that I found someone that could do that. So yeah, I can't see this album not doing pretty darn good. I think it's going to do well.
Did you have a really good reaction to the single?
Yes, very, very good. Because I have a bunch of hardcore fans all over the world,
Hmm.
and they keep in touch with me, and I'm very transparent. I'm not one of these guys. Oh, I don't have time, to talk to this guy over in Bulgaria, because our albums only sell 20 copies in Bulgaria. No, if the guy took time to write to me, or the 10 fans from Transylvania, or maybe the couple of hundred fans from New Zealand or whatever, I'm transparent and I'm also accessible. I want to communicate with them. So my reaction, because you're asking what kind of reaction, has been great. They've written to me and they're just like, wow, you know, perfect match. It was almost like, it's kind of like, you're starting a sports team and you needed a certain position on the football team. And,
Hmm.
so you were missing a quarterback. Then all of a sudden, you find the right quarterback.
I totally get it. Well,
Yeah.
I do appreciate you coming on the show again. A really great record. In all seriousness, you wouldn't be here if I thought it sucked. So I think but it's an outstanding record. I think the biggest strength is how well it's written. As far as the songs go, and I think that this one's really gonna get. I think it's gonna get some really good reviews, in my opinion,
Yeah.
because it really does have the songwriting is so strong on it for me. That's what has gravitated me to it. So I think it's going to be a great record. I think you're going to find that you're going to get a lot of people that are going to get into this. And I got to be honest, the people that are promoting it, your singer included, I think you get a great group of people that are going to be pushing this thing.
Yeah, and that's a big part of the whole thing. It's like you got to let people actually be able to hear it, because you can make a great record, but it's like a tree falling in the forest. If no one hears it, so be it. So
Yeah,
yeah, yeah, we do have a good group of people, and they're all great guys, and I'm just lucky, at my age, to keep doing it, and to find people that wanna, share the vision of making great metal music.
sure. Any last words for anybody that's going to be checking this interview out?
Well, Tony, I think you're keeping the flame alive, really. Guys like yourself that have these metal podcasts, and the people that listen to you. So, there's lots of people that are going to go on your show and talk about, oh, I made the greatest record, blah, blah, blah. I don't want to say anything really like that. I just want to say, check it out, because I think that it will connect to a lot of people that grew up on classic metal from the 1980s.
Sure. Absolutely. Well, I do appreciate you coming on. A lot of fun, as always, and I really love the record. Very good.
Thank you so much, Tony, and the people at Metal Command. I love you guys, and I love all the fans, and I hope to hear from you after the show. Maybe some of you will give me a holler, as they say down south.
Hey, everybody. Tony here from the Metal Command podcast. Again, I appreciate your support. Since 1998, I have hosted this show in one form or another, starting off in radio and now in the podcast format. Again, thanks for watching. And if you like what you see and hear on this show, by all means, please hit the subscribe button, hit the little bell to be notified anytime I do post a video. And if you see this program on any other form of social media, please give me a follow there. Again, I always appreciate your support.